Got a great challenge this week. This is going to be another extremely tough SEC game. It'll be our second road game, second SEC road game, and but Kentucky is an extremely tough football team, and we obviously found that out last year when they came in here and beat us here. And just looking at them on film, very impressed. Very physical football team, and offensively extremely explosive, as you would imagine, and defensively very aggressive and very sound like they were last year. Don't see a whole lot of difference in the team. Just a very good team. So we got a work cut out for us. It's going to be a tough game for us to go into their stadium and win, and but we're looking forward to it. That'll be a lot of fun.
Talk about planning to kind of shut down Cobb even when they make the offensive weapons.
Yeah, I don't know that you can shut Cobb down. You know, they've got some really good football players on that offense. I mean, you've got Randall Cobb, you've got Locke, Hartline's throwing the ball extremely well. They've thrown it, you know, well over 100 times, and I think there's only 3 interceptions that he's thrown. They're very physical. It's an offensive line they're not new, but they're different from last year. They have a lot of experience, but very physical. And they got some other receivers. The Matthews, some 6'4" receivers out there that are extremely talented, and they just pose a lot of problems for you. And you know, you can't. They're not one-dimensional. I mean, they can run it, they can throw it, and they're physical while they do it. And so they got another fullback that's very similar to the one they had last year, extremely physical. And you can tell that's their brand of football, and they're doing it well. So from a defensive perspective, going against their offense, it's going to be, we got our hands full.
Not only Cobb, but you've got 2 pretty versatile guys in Locke who catches a lot of passes. What kind of challenges does that, just having 2 guys or more guys who do different things on offense?
Yeah. You know, to me, they do a great job of using their personnel in the right way. And, you know, with Locke, obviously he's a great running back. He's one of the top rushers in the league. But, you know, he'll catch 8 balls a game. You know, you can't, you know, they do a great job with him on check downs, with design free release passes with him. And they just know how to get their guys the ball. And I think that's very impressive. And, you know, again, with 6'4" receivers on the outside, you know, if you give them an opportunity where they feel like it's one-on-one with no help, they're going to throw it up to their 6'4" guys. And they do a good job of protecting their quarterback. And it's just, you know, there's challenges all over the place. You know, they're top 4 or 5 in the league in about every offensive category there is. And, you know, after you watch them on film, you understand why.
Much difference still under Joker Phillips, or is it pretty much the same?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much same idea. You know, pretty much same idea. I mean, very physical team. You can tell that's what they preach. The Ole Miss game last week was extremely physical on both sides, and that's kind of, you can tell that's their way of life. That's what they believe in. So, and defensively as well. I mean, their defensive line's very solid, very athletic. They hold their points of attack really well. Got some really good linebackers, and you know, they're very sound in what they do. And you know, again, just as an overall team, you know, even on their special teams. I mean, you look at Locke and you look at Cobb. I think if you combine their, you know, their total yards per game, I think they both account combined for close to, you know, 340 yards a game. That's a lot of yards. Whether you're a tailback or a wideout or a kick returner, punt returner, that's a lot of yards. So just very talented guys and a very well-coached team.
Coach, do you feel that you got, I know every coach wants that complete game. Do you feel like steps were made in having a complete game last week?
I do. I feel like we were more in the right direction as opposed to in the wrong direction after looking at it. And, you know, obviously there's glaring things that we could do better. But, you know, I don't feel like last week we took a step back at all. I feel like we got better in some areas. And, we'll need to play better this week, without question, but I don't think we took a step back at all last week.
Second straight season, you've gotten off to a 5-0 start. When you look at it, this junction of this season, what do you see in this team that it's better than what it was at this stage last year?
This day, I got asked that same question earlier in the week, and I don't know what the difference is yet. I'll know when we play games 6, 7, and 8. I don't know. I hope that we're a more consistent team. I hope that we've continued to improve, maybe more so than we did at this time last year. But we're on a stretch now where this month of October we're going to find out exactly, as a team, how far we have come in a year. But right now, I don't know. I'm very happy with our team because they work hard, they're focused, they want to win. All of those things are in place. But until we take, one game at a time, I don't know what the difference is yet.
When you look at this team, do you see a team that's more comfortable with what they're doing than maybe a year ago?
I think so. I think that's just, simply by time spent, Philip. I think that, the team is more comfortable with where we're at. And, again, just being the second year in what we're trying to do, I think that just naturally happens. But, are we going to be at a better spot this time next week than we were a year ago? I don't know. They got to go out there and they got to improve in practice today and tomorrow and Thursday, and then we got to go play a great game to be able to win it up there. So I'll know more this time next week.
Coach, in a game like this past Saturday where the starters can watch it from the sidelines for part of the game, how much does that benefit them, just besides rest, but just from watching and kind of studying, how much of a benefit can they have from doing that?
I think it benefits them in a lot of ways, not just physically, but, I'll speak from a team morale standpoint. Those guys out there watching the younger guys play and actually coaching them and watching them engage with them when they come off on the sideline from a team perspective is invaluable. I think they have kind of a vested interest in the guys that play behind them, when they watch them and they're able to, kind of coach them and we tell them that. I told them in the locker room right now, this game isn't over for anybody. If you're out, your job is to watch your guy and coach your guy and encourage those guys. And that happened. And I don't think I even needed to tell them that. I did, but they did a good job of that Saturday.
The guys that play a lot for you that you were able to rest, from a physical standpoint, Cam Newton, Josh Bynes, guys like that you could, maybe give them that on the long haul when you're how beneficial do you think that was?
I think it's big. I do. I think it's big, and anytime you can take guys that are going to play, 600-700 snaps, for a year. Anytime you can take 30 or 40 snaps off of them, I think it's huge.
How significant was it that Cam was kind of a pocket passer this last game, patient in the pocket, looking for his receivers? How much do you think he can gain from that?
I think that was one of the things that, going in we needed to be able to do. And there was times in the game that Cameron could have made some better choices, and he knows that. And I think he was disappointed in some of the choices that he made as a pocket passer. And but again, I think that was invaluable experience. One great thing about Cameron is that he's a very smart player, and he understands when he makes a mistake once, the value in not doing it twice. And I think he experienced a little bit of that Saturday.
Any update on Barrett Trotter?
We'll know. It's really going to be. I'd like to say it's all great, but it's going to be a day-by-day deal still, and hopefully he'll be ready. But again, the evaluation process will continue for the next 4 days.
You guys have given up, I think, 10 points in the fourth quarter and overtime this season after Kentucky and Georgia and Alabama had fourth quarter comebacks. What's the biggest difference you're seeing maybe with this year's and last year's team with your late game defense?
I think it's probably a little bit of mixture of a lot of things. I think that some of it is adjustments, not really knowing in some of the games what exactly the plans of these different teams might be. I think that our guys get into a rhythm defensively, and as the games go and they see more of any new things that might have occurred, you know, it's just a comfort level as the game wears on. I think that we've been able to play with a little more depth at different positions early in the game. That's taken some snaps off some guys, particularly in the defensive line. If you notice that, you know, we're going to try to get a lot of our young guys in, and at one time we'll have an all-freshman defensive line in there at given times early in the games, whether we're ahead, behind, you know, no matter what the circumstances are. So I think, you know, all of those things matter as you get into the fourth quarter, and, you know, I think all of those things have helped.
Any other questions?
Gene, Nick Fairley leads the league in tackles for loss, I think in sacks as well. Can you talk about what's making him so effective in the D-line?
You know, Nick has, I'm really proud of where he's gone, because he's, I think he's made strides as a football player in understanding that the carryover that you have from practice to game day is legitimate, and how to work, and, you know, how to become a better student of the game, and the importance of repetitions building up in practice and you carrying those over to the game. I think all of those things matter. You know, I think last year when he got here, he's obviously a physical presence, but, you know, last year when he got here, I feel a little bit like, you know, it was just a lot of moving parts, and, you know, he's trying to just, you know, break the huddle and figure out what's going on after that, where now I feel like he's learning how to be a better player, because he's very talented. There's no question. So I think, you know, he's learning how to be a better college football player, and I don't necessarily feel like maybe that's where he was at last year.